Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 412 for the 11th of April. And let's start off with the biggest news. Is not Bakhmut, but actually information, a news headline that was dropped by United 24 Media. They are doing very well, because yesterday they also put out something very shocking. So apparently the spring offensive has been postponed. This information is coming from the Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal in an interview with The Hill. They say that Kiev will launch a counter-offensive in readiness, possibly in the summer. So he said that we do not feel the pressure of our friends and partners to launch an offensive, since they dropped all the information and allow the Russians to know whatever we want to do. So now we just clearly understand that in order to do a counterattack, you will need to be 100% ready, as shown by the documents that they are totally not ready, or even more. So they need more artillery ammunition, more medium and long range missile, they need tanks, and they need fighter jets, just as the documents have shown. So as you know, the document is not real, and so this spring offensive has totally have nothing to do with the documents that is now postponed to the summer. So moving on away from this shocking headline that the spring offensive has been postponed, which I would recommend you to take it with a pinch of Soleda. And let's move on to the main dish, the receding hairline at Bakhmut. So the Ukrainian forces continue to lose ground, and this time around the Ukrainian forces have lost the Bakhmut train station after days of heavy fighting with the Russian forces pushing at Bakhmut, and with the rumors of the capture. We can now confirm that it is captured because the Ukrainian, as you can see that this Ukrainian mapping, Deep State UA has acknowledged that the front line now looks like this. So the Russian forces have captured this pivotal and strategic location, the train station. So the Ukrainian forces are now almost entirely only on the western side of Bakhmut city. So and if you want to see the quick update about this, you can actually check out the quick update over at the main channel. And also on the southern side, the Ukrainian forces have also kind of rather not the Ukrainian forces, but the Ukrainian mapping has acknowledged this was the previous mapping, and that they held this mapping for quite a number of days. They did not change the mapping at all. And finally, in the latest update, I can confirm that they have acknowledged that they have lost this area. Okay, it was something like this. Yeah, they have kind of lost this area, and the Ukrainian lines are now looking like this. The information now from Surya maps is that fighting is along Travnia Street and also at Polyana Street. They did not mention Polyana Street within the information, the one that they write in their Telegram channel. However, in their mapping, they did show that the Russian forces make progress in this area here, and the Russian forces also, in a more dramatic fashion, broke through over in the northern side of the railway line from the Bakhmut station. They have captured this entire industrial zone, and this is acknowledged by the pro-Ukrainian source Deep State UA in their mapping. In fact, they actually admitted even more than what the Surya maps was mapping. Surya maps only mapped something like this. The Ukrainian mapping actually goes all the way here, and acknowledge that they have lost this entire area here as well. So so this is actually quite pivotal, because as you can see, there is this very big high building over here, and allegedly this building is going to be able to see most of Bakhmut, should the forces are able to go to the top and not killed by Ukrainian artillery. And so Surya maps also reported that they have confirmed that this station has been captured. Information, you see Deep State UA information has they say that the enemy has occupied the railway station. So so this is information coming from the central of Bakhmut. In the southwest of Bakhmut, there is also fighting. According to Ryba, the pro-Russian source, they say that the Wagner private military contractors are now attacking the Ukrainian positions along the Chokhovskogo Street, which is actually this street here. I should use it in blue. Blue. Yes, like this. And Russian forces is actually attacking this area here. So they have been fighting for this area for some time. The Ukrainians are holding that position quite well because it's much more easier to reinforce this area here than to reinforce that area there. So over at the northern part, there is also some updates with the Russian forces managed to push along this area here in the northern part of northwestern part of Bakhmut, or the northern part of the front line. With Ryba, the pro-Russian source, reporting that the fighting is now around the school number 24, and school number 24 is actually here. You can see this school, the Hot Watts. Yeah, it looks like Hot Watts to me. It's over here. You can see 24. You see 24. So just outside of Bakhmut city, there is also fighting reported at Kromove. According to Myro Shenikov, the pro-Ukrainian source, they say that the Russian forces is climbing mountains over here, and then they say that this is a shooting range, so the enemies are visible and the terrain is short. I find it a bit funny, but okay. So I think the reasoning why he would say that was that this is actually a high ground. So this is actually a high ground, and the Russian forces, this is around the top of the hill, and when they have to approach Kromove, they are going downhill. So rather than climb the mountain, they're actually descending the mountain, and as they descend down, they are perfectly, open. Their position is pretty open to Ukrainian attacks, and they can actually, shoot at these Russian forces that is coming down the hill. So yeah, this is some kind of interpretation. So there's also fighting reported at Donetsk, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. As for the information about the VDV, yesterday I reported that the VDV is fighting alongside with the Wagner. Some clarification is that apparently is probably, I'm not 100% sure, that this area here is fought by the Wagner, and then the VDVs are the one that is attacking from outside. The one that is fighting on the outskirts is actually the VDV. So the inside here is still the Wagner forces. So moving on, give me a while. Yeah, forget it. Okay, so moving on to, we go to the next front line, which is actually at Avdiivka. So at Avdiivka is where some of the other major fighting is currently ongoing, and the Russian forces are attacking towards Avdiivka again. According to War Gonzo, which you do need to take it with a pinch of salt, they say that the Russian forces is conducting an offensive to Avdiivka from the direction of Opitne. So, which means that they are pushing in this direction again towards this area here. But take it with a pinch of salt. I didn't see anyone else reporting about that. Otherwise, there is fighting reported towards Giverny. Giverny is here. And interesting thing is that the Ryba, the pro-Russian source, reported that this is actually a major logistic hub. How is this a logistic hub is beyond my understanding. And there is also fighting reported near Vodian, according to Deep State UA. And they said that the Russians cannot gain a foothold, and they are losing manpower. So try horsepower next time. And there is fighting reported at Pervomaisky, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and at Nevelsky on the 11th of April, which is just the past 24 hours. So pretty much the front line here have not really changed much. It's just still the same thing, same old thing, mostly all over, more or less the same, which means the Ukrainians are doing a good job holding the Russians back, or the Russians are doing a good job holding themselves back. Moving on from the north to the north of Avdiivka, there is fighting reported towards Avdiivka. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, there is fighting reported near Krasnohorivka. According to Deep State UA, they did not mention exactly where the near means. And that's all. That's all. That's all from the Avdiivka Front. And moving on to nearby, I guess. Let's go to not nearby. I want to go to Siversk Front. At the Siversk Front, is getting a little bit spicy over here. Yesterday, I have reported that there was fighting at this area here, which I should have graded out. And now there is fighting reported at Vasily. According to War Gonzo, they say that the Russian forces attempted an offensive at Vasily. They call them Nazis, and they feel very offended. And over at Sperne itself, there's a conflicting information. War Gonzo reported that the Ukrainian forces is attacking or in the Sperne region. However, the information is contradicted by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry say that the Russians are the one that is attacking Sperne. So, see who you prefer to believe. I think on this account, I will prefer to believe the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. And at Bilohorivka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting in the south of Bilohorivka, that the Russians unsuccessfully offended the Ukrainians, as they say that it was an unsuccessful offensive. So maybe they call a label that it doesn't stick, like, hey, you penguin, and then they do not understand. And moving on to Kreminna, since it's just nearby. At the Kreminna, we have fighting reported at the Serebransky forestry. According to Deep State UA, as usual, there's nothing particularly special about this fighting around the forest, because everyone wants to fight for the forest. The green agenda is too strong. We need to save the earth. And there's a geolocation by Chris759 at this location. The geolocation is actually a video of shelling by the Russian forces at this area here, and which means that it suggests that this suggests that the Ukrainian forces is actually at this area here. So, yeah, so this is why I mapped it as a geolocation of Ukrainian forces. However, because the situation here is very fluid, so I did not really change the mapping based on this, because I also do not know when the video is actually being shot. And there is shelling being reported by the Russian Defense Ministry at Yampolivka. Otherwise, it was by assault aircraft, artillery, and active actions of the unit. So, which actually that means that this is actually a fighting. This is actually fighting because active actions. So, yeah. So I will change this to fighting. Fighting being reported at Yampolivka. I think this makes more sense. So that's all from the Kreminna Front, and then let's move on to the Marinka region, at the Donetsk Front. And there is fighting reported at Marinka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. And in the south of it, at Novomykhailivka, there is shelling reported at this region, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. In the north of Volodymyrivka, there is Ukrainian actions, as well as at Voleda. So information is coming from Russian Defense Ministry. I forgot to list. This is actually from the press team from the forces that is fighting around this area, which is actually the Vostok group of forces. So this they are fighting reported here. This is actually our own information. Sorry, that's a fake news. Sorry, the fighting is actually only at Voleda. According to Zoka 200, Zoka actually shared a video of the Ukrainian forces attacking around the region of Voleda that was engaged by the Russian forces. The Ukrainian forces actually heading down certain roads, maybe this road or maybe this road, I'm not sure which road, and then they will actually attack. The tank column was attacked by the airborne forces. I think it's airborne. Is it airborne? No, special forces, whichever special forces they are. So and then so that means that there is some kind of a Ukrainian action in this area here that we have previously never reported before. So this is also part of this probing attacks that is going on across the entire of Ukraine. Sorry, the Ukrainian front line. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they only mentioned shelling at Voleda over the past 24 hours, and that's all from the Donetsk Front at or the western part of Donetsk city. And there is nothing on the Zaporizhia region. It suddenly went quiet. maybe the shelling, all this shelling have done its job, I guess. And moving on to the only front that we have yet to cover, which is actually in the north here at the Kupyansk Front, Kupyansk Svatove Front. At the Kupyansk Svatove Front, there is a geolocation of the front line by Deep State UA. They actually show that the Russian forces is actually within this forest area here. Let me, yeah. The Russian forces is actually in this forest area here, and there's a Ukrainian attack shooting at the Russian forces within this area. So, but according to the Russian Defense Ministry, they only mentioned shelling or at Sinkivka. Some people say that when I say shelling, it sounds like shouting or shelling reported at Sinkivka. So yeah, I should try to pronounce it better. Probing continued to be reported at the Shelna, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, and also at Ivanivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. They say that this group of forces is coming from the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade, and then the shelling reported at Kaislivka on the 11th of April, and that's all from the Kupyansk Front. So the Ukrainians attacking these two areas here. It's still probing attacks. It's not offensive or no offensive operation in the grand scale just yet. And over at the Svatove Front, this is Svatove city. So this is Svatove Front. The Russian reportedly attacking near Novoselivsky, according to Deep State UA. There is geolocation of Russian forces at this position. However, this video actually shows the Ukrainians dropping drone bombs like grenades or mortar on the Russian forces that was walking or crawling in this area here. So and there is probing reported at Stemakivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, which the Ukrainians are pushing, perhaps. So the Russian pushing in that way. And that's all from the Svatove Front. And I believe this is all. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button, share it if you are not you have shared this to everywhere. Put it, just spam it in your social media. And this is the summary for the day of 412 for the 11th of April. And I'll see you when you have your hair